This is Inside the TMC Family. And today with us, we have Katie Klauss from Peoples, and she is so similar to me in some ways, but so much smarter than me. We were just chatting about how we're both a little bit of quirky people, and we love it that we're that way. So this is going to be fun for us to do. You want to share with us a little bit about your role at Peoples and a little bit about Peoples before we get started?
Sure. Peoples is a mortgage banker, and we are located, I think, in just around 40 states now. Our headquarters is in Tempe, Arizona. It's a family-owned and started business that has just kind of grown organically throughout the years, and it started in 98. I have been with the company since 2001. And I believe my official title is SVP of Operations, but I do kind of anything that they need me to do. I work on special projects. I've done compliance. I sit on their executive board, so a lot of different hats, but my official title is SVP of Ops.
Awesome. So let's find out a little bit more about you. We got to meet this last year, and I don't know your story, so I'm excited to be able to hear it myself and share it with everyone. But what was your first job that you ever had?
So my first job ever was, I grew up in Ohio, and I used to do little kids' birthday parties. It was called Magic Mountain, but it was kind of one of those places that had like go-karts and kids jumpy things and mini golf and all of that. And so I did kids' birthday parties. And fun fact is I know how to make balloon animals. So if you guys ever need that at TMC, I can totally do that.
Oh, we might take you up on that one.
I can be one of the cocktail hours and make you guys some dogs and flowers and swords. It'll be great.
That might be kind of fun, actually. Um, so you went from making balloon animals. How did you get into mortgage?
So I came out to Arizona to go to Arizona State, and my aunt at the time was a processor for one of our branches. Not She didn't work at corporate, but one of our branches. And our owner's daughter was also starting at Arizona State, and so they needed somebody to fill in for the phone so that they could move her into, I think, the dorm. And so my aunt, I had done receptionist work also in high school, and my aunt had reached out to me and said, can you help out? You just need to come out in the morning and just answer phones for a few hours. And I told her no, because I didn't want to work. I wanted to have fun at the dorm with my friends. And she was like, they'll pay you $10 an hour. And I was like, sign me up, because that was a lot of beer money back then. It was like double what I got paid when, I started working. So I just filled in for the morning, and then she called me the next day to help, and it kind of spiraled from there. I got offered a part-time job and turned into a full-time job, and I'm still here 21 years later.
21 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
great story. Such a great story.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I know $10 back in the day was like great cash.
Yeah. It was like
Have
10
on
bucks would have
hand.
bought me like a case of natural light to drink at the frat party that weekend. It was great. I was so excited.
Exactly. Exactly. When you got in, the one thing that you wish that you know now, and it just seems so like obvious, that you wish somebody would have just clued you in the beginning.
So it's hard to say, because I was one of these businesses where like I didn't anticipate it being a career. It was just a job. But one thing that I have learned is that experience does matter. And so the more you know about the business, the better off you will be. And so going in, I didn't really care to learn much, because I didn't think I'd be here forever, but
Sure.
learning is what got me to where I am today, and wanting to take an active role and understanding the whole process. And so kind of one thing I wish is taking advantage of those people that know more than you, and finding a mentor and finding somebody who will help you, and understanding how what you do affects other people. I think that's really important. It would have been important for me if I would have known this was my career. And it also is important for anybody who is coming into the business is not to work in a silo and learn how what you're doing is affecting other people. And that only makes you a stronger employee.
Yeah, that's great advice for somebody new that's coming into the industry. I think that's one thing that a lot of us maybe just kind of let the thing direct us versus us kind of directing our career. And so that's awesome advice for somebody new coming in.
Yeah, and mortgages feels like a lot of people just fall into it. And so it's not something like you go to school for. So, you go to college to get all of this knowledge, and then you get into the mortgage industry and you're like, oh, well, none of what I learned in these classes really applies here. And so you really are starting over and learning everything from the ground up. So it's important to get that knowledge.
Yeah, there's kind of no determined path.
Yeah.
It's like you don't go into it knowing kind of what the next step may be if you stay, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. If you weren't in I'm excited to hear the answer to this question, because if you were in mortgage, what would you be doing?
So then this is the one where I have a hard time answering this too. I mean, right now I'd love to like be a stay-at-home mom with my kids in school because it feels like it'd be easy, even though I know it's not easy because kids are, a whole different ball game. But I went to school to be like pre-law I took my LSAT. So I would assume that if I was doing anything else, it would probably be in the legal field. But I also have done compliance. And so I know that maybe that wouldn't have been the best spot for me to be in either, because that's a whole nother thing that would be a lot difficult. There's a lot of gray in legal, and I like, when people give me boundaries. So it's a very hard question, but I assume that if, I never got into the mortgage industry, I would have followed along on that path to have done that. And I think it could have been rewarding and interesting work depending on the field of law that I would have decided to get into.
Absolutely agree. I wouldn't have picked that for you because I know that but yet at the same time, I can totally see you doing that.
Yeah, it has to be the right kind of law, right? So everyone's always says sales, 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 but I'm the kind of person that's like, do you want to buy this? No. Okay, thanks. Have fun. Thanks for talking to me. Like, I don't have that sales drive that everybody in sales has. I'm very impressed with, people who are successful in that industry. It's, or that, area. It's something that I don't really have. I like to be social, but I don't like to sell, basically.
Yep, exactly. There are a lot of people out there just like that. That's for sure. Random question. If you could compare yourself to any animal that's out there, what animal would you be, and why would you compare yourself to that animal?
Oh man, that is a very tricky question. Oh goodness, I have no idea. I'm gonna go with a bear, but like a nice bear, and more just because they like can eat a whole bunch and then they go hibernate in the winter. I don't think it really compares to me, but I think it sounds lovely. So if I could just eat a bunch of food and creep around in people's backyards and then take a nap for a few months, that sounds like something I would like to do. So that's a hard question on the spot. I don't know. So we'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, you're always like, I was going to call you a quokka because we've been talking about a quokka here, which is the happiest animal on the face of the planet. And
I don't even know about this.
I know, you need to look it up.
Yeah.
Everybody should look up a quokka. We landed on them because they're like this crazy, silly, funny looking animal, and they're like known to be the happiest animal on the planet. I was going to give you that one.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yourself.
Where do they live? Where do these quokkas live?
Australia. I think Australia. Yeah.
I like that. I'll do that. I can switch my answer to that. Yeah.
I kind of like the bear. I was gonna say sloth myself.
I was gonna say sloth, yeah, but I'm not that slow. And then cheetah always comes to mind because my son can tell you every detail and every fact about cheetahs, but it's nothing like me. So I had to really come up with something there.
Sounds Great. Well, we appreciate you. We always know that when you're engaged in something, even if it's a serious conversation, that we're going to have fun while we're doing it, which I think when you spend so much time at work, it's super important to do that. So you bring a little bit of sunshine to us the days that you're involved in some of those things, and we really appreciate that about you. So thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you. We love TMC. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Chicago in a few months.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you too.